Hello students, as per revised syllabus, a polarization topic is removed from your syllabus. Then today we directly start a interesting phenomena of light called as interference. We have learned about the superposition of waves in previous chapter number 6. According to this principle of superposition, when two or more waves overlap, the resultant displacement of a particle of the medium at a given point is a vector sum of displacements produced by individual waves present alone. If that means if crest of one wave coincides with crest of other, or trough of one wave coincides with trough of other, then we say that both waves are in the same state of vibration or same phase, and the resultant amplitude or displacement, you say, is a maximum. But a crest of one wave coincide with trough of other wave means both waves are in opposite phase or out of phase. The resultant amplitude is minimum. If we consider both waves are having same amplitude, then in first case means when they are in phase, the resultant amplitude becomes double. While in second case, the amplitude is 0, because cancellation of the amplitude is there. If both waves are light waves, then intensity is not uniform. Means at more bright, at some points we get a more bright points, and at some points we get a dark points. Such a rearrangement or modification or distribution of intensity due to superposition of the waves is called as a interference, and it is stated as the modification or redistribution in intensity of the light, means larger at some place and smaller at other, due to superposition of two waves, is called a interference. Some examples are known to you. Soap bubble, you see colors, different colors are there. Oil film is there. In rainy season, oil is fall on the road, then you see that color oil is seen, color film is found, or colors of the peacock feathers, colors of the butterflies, different colors are there, and they are very attractive colors. It all these phenomena are happens due to interference of light. Then there are two types of interference are there, constructive and destructive. Let us consider the interference pattern on the water waves, which are shown in the figure. In one figure photo is there and other is a diagram is there. Look here, in these figures, the interference for water waves S1 and S2, look here, this is S1 and here is the S2, are the identical sources. Identical means their amplitude and wavelengths are same, and they emit the waves of, that means they emit the waves of same wavelength and same amplitude. And look here, these waves are shown here. In figure, crests are shown by the continuous lines. There are some continuous lines are there, and there are some dotted lines are there, produced by S1 and S2. The continuous lines we considered as a crest, and dotted lines we considered as a trough. Then look the points. Means here there are some red dots are there. Look here, red dots are there. Along this line we get a red dot, or along this line we get a red dot. Again along this line we get a red dots, or along this line we get a red dots. At this red dots, the crest of one wave coincide with the crest of other, or trough of one wave coincide with the trough of other. Means both water waves are in the same phase. The resultant amplitude is maximum in upward direction or downward direction. But here, there are some points which are shown by blue dots. Look here. Blue dots are along this line or along this line or along this line. There are the blue dots. In that blue dots, crest of one wave means S1 is coincide with crest of a trough of other. Means both waves are in the opposite phase. And when these both waves are in opposite phase, we say that there is a destructive interference. Means when crest or trough coincides, there is a construction of the interference. Means resultant amplitude is maximum and it is called as a constructive interference. But one crest coincide with the trough of other, then the resultant displacement is a zero because both waves are identical in amplitude. So resultant displacement is a zero. Just like as I am saying, any student go 4 meter away from me and come back 4 meter. Then what is the resultant displacement then? Vector sum is zero. Okay, because displacement taken place in opposite directions. So case forms, crest tried to pull the particle 4 units upward, suppose. Trough destruct its plan. So it is a destructive interference. Then look here, the point at which, means which points are there? Shown by the red dots. The point at which crest of one wave coincide with the crest of other, or trough of one wave coincide with the trough of other, that means both waves are in the same phase at that point and displacement is maximum. These are the points of constructive interference, and for light wave these points are the bright points because intensity of the light is directly proportional to the square of amplitude. A destructive interference, the point at which crest of one wave coincides with the trough of other. Look here, blue points are there. That means both waves are in opposite phase. At that point, displacement is minimum. And these are the points of destructive interference for light wave. These points are dark points. Means both waves are identical, then dark points. But suppose their amplitudes are quite different, means 4 unit and 3 unit. Then suppose I am saying I as any student go 4 meter, come back 3 meter. Then what is the resultant displacement? 1 is there. Cancelled their displacement, but not cancel all. Because amplitudes are not equal. When amplitudes are not equal, then the point is not perfect dark. It is a less bright point is there. Okay. That means in this way we can discuss the constructive interference and destructive interference. Thereafter, we come across what is the most important condition for getting a constructive and interference pattern. Most important condition for getting a sustained interference pattern or steady interference pattern. On the screen, two sources should be coherent. Then question arises, what is a coherent source? Means two sources which emit the waves of same frequency. Two sources emit the waves of same frequency, having a constant phase difference and independent of the time. Means suppose we consider at any point, means suppose one wave is coming from here, other wave is coming from here, they are meet at this point, and at this point when they are meet together, then their phase difference is either constant. Suppose we consider phase difference between them is pi. Means out of phase are there and this point is dark. Then this phase difference always remains constant and it is not depends upon the time. Means we see this point in 0th second, thereafter 5 second, 10 second or 1 minute, this point is always dark. Or we considered at this point both waves are meet together, one forms a crest and other also forms a crest. Resultant amplitude is maximum, means this point is bright, and as this point is bright, then that means their phase difference is either 0 or integral multiple of 2 pi. We discuss more detail later on. Then what happens there then? Means it is not depends upon the time. Mean at any, whenever you are watching, phase difference is either 0 or either constant. So we considered here this point is a bright point. Means to get a sustained or steady interference pattern, this condition should be required. Okay? Then again one time, two coherent sources of light, two sources which emit the waves of same frequency and having a constant phase difference. And this phase difference is always constant, not depends upon the time or independent on time. Then why coherent source should be needed? One question is there, what are the coherent sources and why they should be needed, or how they are produced? Another question is also there. Then why they are needed? Different sources emit the waves of different frequencies and phase difference at any point vary with time. The position of maximum and minimum will also changes with time. Means suppose we use two different sources, then their phase difference at any point never remains constant, because there is a rapid and irregular changes of the phases. And that's why what happens, at any point phase is not constant, so this point is not always remains bright or not always remains dark. So we don't get a sustained or steady interference pattern. That means interference pattern will not be steady or sustained. To get the steady interference pattern, two secondary sources are derived from the single source. Then question arises, how these two sources are obtained? These two sources are obtained from the single source. Then there are three methods are there. In the Young's double slit experiment, they take the cardboard, opaque medium like it, and having a slit, sunlight or monochromatic light is illuminated from it, and this light is incident on another two slits made on another cardboard, and which is kept parallel to first one. So from single slit we get two slits. We discuss this experiment in the next article. Okay, Young's double slit experiment, we get a coherent sources from the single source. Another one is the Lloyd mirror method is there. That means this mirror is placed parallel to the surface, and when this light is incident, mean light from the source is made to fall grazing angle. Grazing angle means angle of incidence is almost 90. Look here, this is the normal to the surface and this is the incident light. Mean angle between incident ray and normal is almost 90 degree. Almost 90 means not 90, almost 90. Less than 90 means 89, thereafter 88 and so on. Then what happens there, when this light is fall here, then this light is reflected back at the same angle of refraction, means almost 90. And another direct light is also coming from here. Mean one direct source is there from the single source and other is the reflected image. Just like it, some light is fall directly on the screen, some falls after reflection. The reflected light appears to come from the virtual source. Mean we get two sources. One is a direct source, direct light is coming. Another one is a reflected light which is coming from the, and this reflected light is appears to come from here. Means look the things like it. Two sources we get. This is the real source and this is the virtual source. Two sources are there. This light is appears to come from here. And so two sources derived from the single source acts as a coherent sources, and they are interfere and produce a stable, steady or sustained interference pattern. Okay, this is the Lloyd mirror method to obtain the coherent sources. Another method is also there, biprism experiment. Fresnel in his biprism experiment used a biprism whose photograph is shown in this figure. Look this figure. I mean, look there, it is just like as a glass plate having a small edge. This edge, at this edge, how much angle is made almost? This angle made at the edge is almost 180. Not exactly 180, slant slope is there. Then almost 180 means 179 degree near about, 178 or 179. So this is the means the biprism is a prism with vertex angle is nearly 180. Nearly 180 means not exactly 180. It is 179 or 178. And it can be considered to be made up of two thin prisms of refracting angles 30 minutes to 1 degree. Mean when it is 179 degree this angle, then what are the remaining two angles? These remaining two angles are this angle and this angle. This remaining two angles are, look here, this angle is there. These remaining two angles are almost, it is 179, then it is 30 minutes. But when it is 78, then it is 1 degree, 1 degree. Mean, you know that sum of all three angles is 180. Mean it is a 179, then remaining are 30 minutes. And it is a 178, then it is a 1 degree. Mean these are the means biprism is a prism, two prisms having almost two prisms having refracting angle 30 minutes to 1 degree joined to their bases, and whose vertices makes an angle or vertex angle is nearly 180. Okay, the refracting edge of the biprism is kept parallel. This is the refracting edge of the biprism. Look here, this way. This edge is kept parallel like it. Look, this edge is parallel, perpendicular to the plane of the your mobile. Mean here a slit is also perpendicular to the plane like it. Mean here is the slit. This is your slit, and here is the edge. This refracting edge is perpendicular to the plane of the ear. A refracting edge of the biprism is kept parallel to the length of the S. Monochromatic light from the source is passing through S. Means here is a monochromatic light, source of monochromatic light. This is passing through the slit, or this slit is illuminated by monochromatic light. And when it is incident on the refracting surfaces of the biprism, these are the refracting surfaces of the biprism. After refraction, when you are watching from here, after refraction, these lights are appears to come from S1 and S2. Mean these two waves coming from S1 and S2 interfere with each other as shown in figure and produces interference. Mean from single slit or single source here, we get two virtual images after refraction from the biprism. Mean this light is appears to come from S1 and S2. These are the virtual images of the real source, acts as the coherent sources, and they are interfere with each other and forms an interference pattern on the screen which is kept at certain distance. Mean in this way we get what is the coherent sources and how they are produced. Mean in Young's experiment we get a directly in Lloyd mirror and biprism method are there. Thereafter we go through another topic, Young's double slit experiment. How we can work out this? Means this was the first experiment to demonstrate the interference of light, and this experiment was held in 1801 by British scientist Sir Thomas Young, and it gives the validity of Huygens wave theory. Means light is propagated in the form of waves. It is proved by this experiment. Mean Huygens suggested this theory. I think it is given in your book. This Huygens suggests this theory in 1636. It is given in your book, and thereafter 1668. And thereafter, after means 1668 means this 32 years are there, 17 and 18 means after 132 years back, this theory was proved by the Sir Thomas Young. Means interference phenomena is the phenomena of light. Look the experimental arrangement. In this experiment, plane wavefront is fall on an opaque screen AB having two narrow slits S1 and S2. Means how this plane wavefront is produced. Look here, there is a single slit or single source in the form of a slit made on the cardboard. This light from the derived source or monochromatic source is coming on it, and this light is allowed to fall on the convex lens. After refraction, this rays of the light goes parallel and it forms a plane wavefront like this. And when it forms a plane wavefront, then this plane wavefront, this light is incident on what happens? Two narrow slits, S1 and S2. They are about 2 to 4 millimeter apart from each other. Distance between them is about 2 to 4 millimeter. And observing screen PQ is placed behind AB. Means here is the observing screen as shown here. This is the slits. These are the slits here. Means here and here. And thereafter, when this observing screen is here, the slit S1 and S2 are equidistant from S. I mean, look here, their distance from the S is equal. And as their distance from the S is equal, so the wavefront starting from S reach S1 and S2 are in phase at every instant of time because distance is same. And when rays fall on the S1 and S2, they act as the secondary source of light according to Huygens principle. Source of light and emitting a cylindrical wavelength because these are the slits, and we know that slits produces a cylindrical wavelength with axis along the slit's length and to the right of the AB, mean in this direction. Look here. And thereafter, the two secondary source emit the waves in phase at all times. Okay, they are at all times. The crest troughs of the wavelets are superposed as shown in figure. Means similarly like as the water waves, there are some points at which crest of one wave S1 interfere with or cross with crest of other, or trough of one interfere with trough of other, and thereafter we get a bright points. But at some points crest of one falls on the trough of other, then we get a dark points. Then the crest and troughs of the wavelets are superposed as shown in figure. The wavelets are interfere constructively, mean high intensity gives the bright points, and if wavelets are interfere destructively, the zero intensity gives the dark bands or dark points. That means bright and dark and bright regions are called as the fringes, and the whole pattern is called as the interference pattern. Look here, this is the interference pattern. Simple experiment is there. This experiment is asked for 3 marks. I mean, diagram should be expected. Draw such type of simple diagram, not necessary to draw this complicated diagram. It is not recommended by me. This is a recommendation. Simple diagram, only you have to draw 3 or 4 circles. Same circles are there. Means circles are same circles are there, and thereafter you get this diagram. Made the practice of this diagram. Okay, and thereafter we go through another topic, interference band theory or analytical treatment given to the interference pattern in Young's double slit experiment. Means here again same thing is there. Slit is here. This source is here. This source, light is incident, point source is there. Light is incident on the convex mirror. After refraction, light appears to come parallel, mean in the form of plane wavefront, and it is incident on S1 and S2. They are interfere and produces an interference pattern. Mean this is a diagram, and thereafter analytically it is shown with the help of figure. Okay, then let S1 and S2 be the two coherent monochromatic sources of light. You know the coherent, mean their frequency is same, their phase difference is either 0 or constant, and it is independent of the time. But what is the monochromatic source? The source which emit the lights of same wavelength. Means we know that sunlight consists of 7 colors. It is not a monochromatic light. mean different color lights are not monochromatic. But suppose we consider mercury vapor lamp, or in street light you see yellow color lights are there, sodium vapor lamps, they are the monochromatic lights. Means single wavelength light is there. Means what is the requirement? The LED S1 and S2 be the two coherent monochromatic sources of light separated by a distance t. Look here, distance between S1 and S2 is a small d. Thereafter, let lambda be the wavelength of the waves emitted by S1 and S2. Then wavelets coming from S1 and S2 are interfere with each other. Like here, this way, there, here is the interference pattern shown here. And when these wavelets coming from here, they are interfere with each other and produces a interference pattern on the screen at a distance t. And about 1 meter, means distance between source and screen is about 1 meter here, or you can say here also. Here direct figure is there, here the diagrammically shown here. Thereafter, S1 and S1 dash and S2 and S2 dash are perpendiculars. Look here, this is the perpendicular, here is also another perpendicular to screen from S1 and S2. And O is the central point. Mean here O is the central point, here O dash is also central point. O dash will be to reach, that means here next, the point O dash on the screen is equidistant from S1 and S2. Mean look here, from S1 and S2, this O dash point is equidistant like X. And the point O dash on the screen is equidistant from S1 and S2. Thus, the distance traveled by the wavelets starting from S1 and S2 reach O dash will be equal, because the wave coming from S1 to O dash and another wave which is coming from S2 to O dash, they are in the same state of vibration. Why? Their length is same. Their length is same, that means path difference between them is 0. So, point O dash is, there will be bright spot at O dash and bright fringe at the center. I mean at the center, we get a bright fringe like X. Look, this bright fringe at the center. Okay. Thereafter, consider other point P on the screen. Here is another point screen. Then, at distance y from the O dash, means the distance of P point from the center is y. Okay. And the two wavelets from S1 and S2, mean one wavelet is from S1, another wavelet is from S2, travels a different distance to reach at P. So, the phase of the waves are not same. Because, look here, one wave is coming from here, other wave is coming from here. Mean at the center, their lengths are same. But here, this is a shorter length. Mean this much shorter length is there as shown in the figure. Means the S1P is less than S2P. And as S1P is less than S2P, then what happens? Path difference between them here is the normal. Then this is the path difference between them. Then what happens? For bright fringe, mean what are the conditions? Whether P point is bright or dark. Mean here at the center O dash, you say that their lengths are same. So, path difference is 0. And this is the condition for bright point, mean O dash at the, we get a bright point. But what is the condition for P? May be bright or may be dark. When it is bright, at bright fringe at point P, put a path difference equal to S2P minus S1P equal to N lambda. Mean N lambda means this wave is shorter than 1 lambda, 2 lambda, 3 lambda, 4 lambda and so on. Mean path difference between them. Then we say that it is the bright point. But dark fringe, the path difference between them is odd multiple of half the wavelength. Odd multiple means n minus half lambda. Means n is supposed to be 1, then 1 minus half means half lambda. Then n is 2 suppose, then 2 minus half means 3 by 2 lambda. mean 1 into lambda by 2, 3 into lambda by 2, 5 into lambda by 2, 7 into lambda by 2, mean odd multiple of half the wavelength. Then this point is a dark point. We don't know whether it is bright or dark. But when it satisfies the first condition, mean integral multiple of wavelength, then we say that this point is bright. And if this condition is satisfied, n minus half lambda, mean odd multiple of half the wavelength, then this point is dark. Then, thereafter we go through next thing. From triangles S1 dash P and S2 dash P. Look, these triangles are given. It is not shown here in this figure. Here is the figure, mean here this triangle is there and here another triangle is there. In these two triangles are there. And in these two triangles, from these triangles, let us say S2 P square minus S1 P square. Look the thing. S2 P square means here S2 P square minus S1 P square equals to S2 P square means we use the Pythagoras. What is this distance? It is a d square. And what is this distance then? It is a y plus d by 2. Because this is the half distance, this is a d total, then this is a d by 2. So you can take here d square plus y plus d by 2 square. And similarly, we can take here this distance. What is this distance then? For this triangle, how we can take it? S1P square equal to what? D square plus this is total y and this distance is d by 2, mean y minus d by 2. Okay, and thereafter we go through d square plus y minus d by 2 square. Minus is there. Okay, here minus should be there, not a plus is there. And thereafter you take the d square plus y square plus yd plus d square by 4. And thereafter minus d square minus y square, and here minus minus become plus yd minus d square by 4. Okay, after solving it, you get it. Thereafter, S2P square minus S1P square, simple geometry is there. You can take A square minus B square is A minus B and A plus B, A minus B, A plus B. And here D square minus D square, Y square minus Y square, D square by 4 minus D square by 4 gets cancelled. YD plus YD means 2YD, we get here directly. And thereafter, S1P minus S2P divided by this term is there. But S1P and S2P are almost, means here what is the conclusion? Let us say, mean this distance is very large, mean about 1 meter, and distance between distance of the point P in millimeters and distance D is in meters. So comparatively we approximately sees that, approximately we concluded that, what is the approximation we take? S1P and S2P are nearly equal. And when they are nearly equal, we get here S1P is D, S2P is D, mean we get here 2D. 2 gets cancelled, we get YD upon D. Small approximation, slight approximation is taken here. And thereafter, the condition for constructive interference, we know that here delta L mean part difference. S1 minus P, S1P minus S2P is the part difference. Delta L. This delta L is Yn d upon d equal to n lambda. Yn d upon d n lambda. Then Yn be the position of nth bright band. And the condition for destructive interference or dark point is part difference equal to Yn d upon d n minus half lambda. Yn be the position of nth dark fringe. Okay, then we get bright points and dark points analytically. Thereafter, we go through another definition, fringe width or bandwidth. In your book, only fringe width word is used, but it is also called as a bandwidth. Look here, such type of interference patterns are there. Alternate dark and bright bands are observed, as shown in this figure. Then, the distance between any two successive bright bands or bright fringes or dark fringes, you can say. Any two, mean these two, or you can take these two, or distance between two successive bright fringes, mean this and this one is there. Mean distance between any two successive bright or dark fringes is called a fringe width. Then the fringe width, how we can calculate the fringe width? Fringe width using constructive interference condition, mean bright point condition. Then we know that n plus 1 bright band, what is the condition? In last year we discussed this thing. Yn d upon d equal to n lambda. So Yn equals to n lambda d divided by small d for n bright band. And for n plus 1 bright band of Yn plus 1 equal to n plus 1 lambda d divided by d. Same thing is shown here. And similarly, for n bright band of Yn equal to n lambda d. Then, what is the distance between them? We can take in this way also. Fourth bright band and third bright band. What is the fourth bright band? Y4 equal to 4 lambda d divided by d. And for third bright band, Y3 equal to 3 lambda d divided by d. Then what is the difference between them? 4 lambda d divided by d minus 3 lambda d divided by d. You get lambda d divided by d. But this is a specific case. Made the general. So you can take here n plus 1 and n. More precise. Then fringe width W equals to what? Yn plus 1 minus Yn. Distance between n plus 1 bright band and n bright band. This Yn plus 1 is the distance of n plus 1 bright band from the central bright band. This is the central bright band and this is the n plus 1 bright band like it. And this is the Yn bright band. Then what is the distance difference between them is we get a fringe width. Mean W equal to Yn plus 1 minus Yn equal to lambda d divided by d. This is the equation number 1. Fringe width using destructive interference. Similar conditions are there. N plus 1 for dark band. Here we discuss this condition. Yn equal to d is taken here, mean n minus half lambda d divided by d. And Yn plus 1 means n plus 1 is here, means n plus half we consider directly. Okay. Thereafter, we go through n plus 1 dark band, Yn plus 1, n plus 1 minus half lambda d divided by d. And here Yn, n minus half lambda d. Then subtract 1. Subtracting we get again lambda d divided by d. Here also we get a lambda d divided. From 1 and 2, what is your conclusion? Distance between two successive bright bands equal to distance between two successive dark bands. So dark bands and bright bands are equally spaced. Okay, that means equal space, or they are at equidistant and they are having equal width as per concern to interference pattern. Okay, that means this is a very important question in the chapter. Most important question is there. 4-mark question or maybe 5-mark question is also there. Then such type of question is there. Obtain the interference band theory or explain the interference band theory and obtain the expression for fringe width or bandwidth using constructive interference or destructive interference, or sometimes show that dark bands and bright bands are equally spaced, and such type of questions are there. You have to face such type of questions. Then it is a very important question and very simple question is there. Almost with the help of geometry, with the help of this figure, only this figure you have to draw, and with the help of this figure you can explain it. With the help of figure, explain the terms. It is shown here. Explain the terms with see in the figure and explain it. Okay. Thereafter you have to take the simple geometry is there. S2p square minus S1p square. We use the Pythagoras, and thereafter we get the remaining terms. Means my advice is that. 2 days you have to solve this expression. 2 days. 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 2 times or 3 times, then you becomes a master for this expression and never to say again. Thereafter, phase difference. We know that 2 pi phase is related with wavelength lambda. Then delta phi phase is related with part difference delta L. Then taking ratio of them. When we take the ratio, delta phi upon delta L equal to 2 pi upon lambda, simply. So, but we know delta L equal to what? From this expression, in previous expression we discussed 2 pi upon lambda. And what is the delta L we take here? Here we take a delta L. Delta L equal to Yd upon d. If we put this equation Yd upon d here in this equation, then we get Yd upon d 2 pi upon lambda. And Yd upon d means you can take here 2 pi, and thereafter for constructive interference n into 2 pi, and for destructive interference n minus half into 2 pi. Simple thing is there. You can use wave reaching at a point S1 and S2, you get this expression like it. Phase difference, relation between part difference and phase difference is there. Here, look the thing, Yd upon d lambda equal to n. Here, how we can take it? From here we take Yd upon d equal to n. Look in this equation, yn equal to Yd upon lambda d, you can take here n, and thereafter put this value here directly. You get a n upon 2 pi, and similarly for destructive interference also you can get it. Thereafter, intensity distribution. This topic we discuss in next period. Today it's enough. Have a good day. Thank you.